Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session for Dawn Razor. So thank you very much again for donating Dawn Razor. I really appreciate it. And this is going to be a Sion Flex game for a Gold 5 user. So I know a lot of people have asked me about Sion in the past, and so finally you get to see me coach a Sion game here. Real quickly, for those of you not familiar with Sion, I am going to do a Sion guide pretty soon. It has been commissioned. So upcoming guides include Sona, Leona, Nunu, Sion, Maokai, and Thresh. So my daughter is actually going to be induced to be born here in about an hour and a half. We're going to head out to the hospital, so this is going to be the last thing that I do. And then once we get home and get kind of settled in, then I'll get caught up on some of these guides to other coaching sessions that I have. But I wanted to go ahead and try to get this one done before we head out there. Okay, so Sion is a tanky bruiser, bottom lane. He has some decent tank stats, but it's deceptive. Like, you want to keep in mind that he is going to be a little bit squishier in some respects than other bruisers bottom. So if we look at Sion compared to someone like Nautilus, and pull that up. It's going to be important to keep in mind in terms of your trading. So Nautilus goes from 576 to 2,000. What the hell? 576 to 2,000 HP. And his armor goes from roughly 27 to 90. Whereas Sion goes from 543 to 1784. So top end, he loses about 200 health. And he has about 16 less armor at the top end. So 27 to 90. So now his health regen is pretty good. Sion's health regen is 10 instead of 8, so he does have some better regen in lane. And his mana is roughly the same. So just a little bit less tanky. So it's just important to keep in mind, because sometimes people think that he's going to be particularly tanky because of his the health that he can get off his Soul Furnace, which 2 health whenever you kill an enemy, which does add up over time. If you have your Relic Shield, you know you're going to be getting a little bit more. But it evens out near the end of the game compared to other tanks, especially in the support role where you're not going to be getting a ton of kills. So yeah, he does get some extra health, but doesn't create as much of an extra amount of tankiness as you would think right off the bat. So it's not a huge deal, but it's just important to keep in mind that some of his base stats, especially early in the game, are going to be a little bit less than some of his other counterparts bottom lane. His Glory and Death ability, obviously, just whenever he dies, he gets to attack some more. Decimating Smash. I'm not going to go over these super in depth because this is a coaching session. It's not a guide. But be sure to check out the guide whenever it comes out if you want more in depth about it, and I'll research it more and give you some, optimal builds and things like that. Now, I've only played Sion support like twice. I want to preface and say that too, as I'm not a Sion support expert. I'm just going to do the best I can to give good, solid advice about what should be going on in the game. Now his Decimating Smash, if you hold it for 1 second, that's key. Then it does a knock up or a stun. Does some okay damage. Area of effect. So that's about it. So you have to hold it for a second before you get the stun. If you let it go early, then it just applies a slow for a very small amount of time, like a quarter-second slow. So you really want to make sure that you're holding it for a second. So people can dodge out of it if they're not stunned or slowed first. So what the combo is that you want to do is you want to hit people with Roar of the Slayer, which is basically an area of effect in front of you that slows people for 2.5 seconds for a decent amount. And then while they're slowed, then you charge this up for 1 second. And then you hit them. So if they don't have a way to escape it, then they're going to get knocked up for the amount. So, and that can do some pretty good damage. And that shreds armor too. Some decent wave clear too, because if you push the first minion, it'll hit all the other minions. So this is a pretty good ability, and it's very spammable. So, well, the cooldown is a little high for something that should be spammable, but the mana cost at least makes it something that you can cast very often in lane and not run out of mana. And then Soul Furnace, Shield, pretty low scaling overall. Target's maximum health. Well, if you do blow up the shield, it does 14% of the target's maximum health, so that can be pretty good against tanks. But you have to be able to keep the shield up for 3 seconds to get it to explode. So this, little very small shield has to not explode. So it's okay, but this will be the last thing that you level. So I imagine that you level your E, then your Q, then your W, and then the Onslaught, he charges, runs into people, stuns them, does some damage. In general, you're going to want to do this like basically point blank if you can. And then the trick is you knock them up, then you hold them for the stun, for the second, hit them with the stun, and then just proceed from there. You can try to just run at them from a long distance, but the vast majority of players will, get out of the way when they see Sion running in. So Sion's going to be much better at like bronze and silver typically than he would be at higher elos, I believe, because his stuns and such are so telegraphed. His decimating smash and his ultimate are very telegraphed. However, I mean, they do have some pretty good crowd control and they do some pretty good damage. So, anyways, that's a quick introduction to Sion. Let's go ahead and move forward here. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're placing at least 5 control wards and 30 normal wards. You want to do at least 1 normal ward per minute, typically. So if we look down, here we go. This is the game we're going to be looking at here. You place 4 control wards, which is close. That's pretty good. And then, let me see, overview. Yeah, but you only place 20 normal wards. So you want to try to get more of those down as much as possible because it was a 40-minute game. So you should be aiming for about 40 wards there. And then this guy placed 9 more normal wards than you and only 1 less control ward. So overall, pretty good, but try to place some more control wards. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe you didn't upgrade your sight zone for a while, or I don't know. We'll just see when the game's going on. We'll see what's up with that. But okay. Rune page overall pretty good. You go for attack damage. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Sion. I'm not sure exactly what you should be getting. But I do think that armor is probably better here. Because I don't think you're going to be like auto-attacking that much. I mean, maybe. But you're melee. So unless you have some really good ratios, then I wouldn't recommend going armor. And from what I can see... Go ahead and bring this over here. He doesn't really have good AD ratios. If you get the maximum damage on your decimating smash, it has an okay AD ratio on it. But most of the time, it's fairly low scaling. His W doesn't have an AD ratio on it. His E doesn't have a ratio on it. His ultimate does. But, by the time you get to level 6, having an extra 12 AD is not going to be a huge deal. So I wouldn't recommend going AD. I would go armor instead because, especially against a Karma Jinx lane, you're much more likely to be getting hit. Now, I know Karma does mostly magic damage, but she is going to auto-attack you some as well, and Jinx will auto-attack you also. And whenever you hit them, if you do an all-in trade, then the minions will be attacking you, and armor mitigates that as well. And that will let you tank things later, like tower shots, Baron, things like that. So, I mean, armor is probably, if not the best stat in the game, it's up there. It's really, really important because of neutral monsters, lane minions, towers, mini champions, all of these things deal physical damage. So I think that swapping out armor in both the Quints and the marks would be good. The red runes and the big runes. Okay, but I mean maybe 80's okay. I just think that because the only real benefit you're getting from having those ADs is like stronger auto attacks early, and I don't think you should be able to auto attack a Karma Jinx that much early, especially with Ezreal, who doesn't bring any extra crowd control to the table. Would be good. I mean, I imagine Sion is probably best with someone else who has nice crowd control that they can chain together with him. So like a Caitlyn with her traps. So if you knock him up, she can put a trap under him. Or Jinx, or not Jinx, Jhin be really good if he hits him with the W. Then you can maybe hit him with the slow and do your CC chain to him. So I think that someone like that would probably be better. Ezreal really doesn't bring anything to the table. So, but anyways, Mastery's looking pretty good as far as I can tell. It's possible that you should go Insight instead of Fearless, but Sion doesn't really need Flash, I don't think, that much. So Fearless can be a pretty good option. I mean, he needs it to escape, but it's not like integral to his kit, like an Annie or something really needs her Flash to start fights and things like that. So it's not integral to his kit, but anyways, Fearless is probably pretty good, especially, yeah, you're the primary tank, probably. Nasus and you will be the 2 tanks. So yeah, Fearless is good. Pretty good build overall. I do recommend getting a Redemption in there somewhere. Redemption is just something that you need on everybody, even tanks. It's just ridiculously powerful. It's just a must-have item. So I would personally go Eye of the Equinox. Eye of the Equinox into Redemption early on, and then lock it, or Knight's Vow, and then lock it after that. I do like Knight's Vow a lot. I think it's quite powerful, but I don't know. I mean, you could go Equinox into Knight's Vow into Redemption, but somewhere in there, I would get your Equinox early, and I wouldn't mess with Face of the Mountain. I mean, it is pretty good, but the thing that I found with Face of the Mountain is if you get that, it delays your 4 wards for a very long time. Because you're basically what usually happens, and let me see how you did this. Yeah, you go Knight's Vow first. Oh, you went Face the Mountain first. This is one of the weaker 4 items that you can rush first. Like, it does have some nice health on it, but it doesn't give you... I mean, the extra shielding is nice. I don't know. I mean, my thoughts are if you get Equinox, you can complete the Equinox faster and then get your Knight's Vow faster, but... yeah, so you're not going to get your 4 ward item until 30 minutes, which is a very, very long time, and that's probably why the other support had almost 50% more wards than you. I don't know. I mean, this build's okay, but I would still recommend going Equinox into either Knight's Vow or Redemption, depending on what you think you need. I think getting that 4 ward item earlier is a big deal, because with this build, you're not going to be able to get it until a lot later. You know, the old builds on Janna and things like Soraka that I used to recommend, where you would not upgrade your gold item, you would sell it later, then you would just rush Sightstone, Redemption, and then upgrade to Ruby. You know, you would get your Ruby around 20 minutes. But here you're getting it at 40 because you're upgrading your gold item all the way. And I would just, at this point, if you're upgrading your gold item, which you should be because the quest is good, I would just go Equinox, just get that 4 wards quickly. It's... basically, you're getting an inventory slot. You're not getting as much health. I think Equinox... I think it does 500 health, though. Gives you the CDR, gives you 4 wards, and you complete it faster because you already have Sightstone, you already have your other items, so it's only going to take 550 more gold. Whereas this is going to take a lot more gold. It's going to take 800 to complete that. This is going to be, you know, at least another... it's like 1,700, something like that, 16 or 1,700. So it's just taking you a lot more time to complete that. And at the end of the game, you could get another item, and that would definitely let you get your Knight's Vow and Redemption faster. So I would go Equinox into either Face of the Mountain or Redemption, and then whichever one you don't get the other one, and then get Locket after that, probably. So it's a good build, but I would recommend going this path first. Okay, pregame, how are we looking on time here? Okay, we'll pick it up a little bit. We'll see how this goes down. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure about Sion matchups, but I feel like this is going to be a fairly rough lane. It should be a rough lane if Karma's playing it correctly. Jinx and Karma will probably just push easy to tower. You could try to use your E to wave clear so they can't push you as fast, which would be helpful. But it's probably going to be a pretty rough lane. It should be challenging unless your jungler shows up. Lee Sin can probably beat your Graves up if they both show up, so you want to make sure you have good warding and that you're careful that you don't get counter-ganked. And then you probably need to close out the game quickly. If we look at the matchups, Fiora is very, very strong later in the game. Now, Fiora and Katarina are both pretty high skill cap champions, so it's easy to goof those up, and it looks like Katarina definitely does goof it up. She goes 4-9. Fiora does very well, though. So both of those are extremely dangerous, late game in particular, so you need to make sure you're cleaning this up. Yeah, your major late game threat is probably Vel'Koz. He's going to do most of your burst damage in team fights. The old Fervor of Battle Vel'Koz. What's going on over here? Oh, okay. But anyway, so try to close out the game quickly. I think they should outscale you over time. But we'll see. Let's go ahead and get in here, though, and see what we have. And as usual, I'll take notes, and then we'll go over sort of what I think are the most important things to keep in mind at the end. Okay, so I don't think they're... I guess you guys can try to invade.
To Summoner's Rift.
I guess Sion with his stun, if they walk into you, would be a pretty brutal invade. If they walk through here and you get a full charge stun on them. It is a long CC chain if you get the full charge stun. You can set that up out of a bush or something. You know, it's like a 2-second knock-up, so it's pretty powerful. Okay, looks like they're not going to bite, so I'll fast forward through here.
Minions have spawned.
Y'all had an AFK. I would come up and devastating smash this wave. Like, you can try to hit them if you want, but I think it's just more important to hit the wave. Just to push them. They're pushing into you right now, so they're going to hit level 2 first, probably. Maybe the same time. Okay, yeah, basically the same time. But you could have pushed up and gone for level 2. Okay. Body block. Okay. So, in those kind of situations, you need to walk up and body block for Ezreal so that Karma can't hit him with more Qs. So against anything that has straight line shots, if you're a tank support, you need to be stepping in front and soaking the like Ezreal Qs or Karma Qs or Jinx zaps. Like, sounds like a gnat or something flying around. Yeah, go ahead and throw these minions off and try to hit the Jinx with your E. Just throw the minions at her. There you go. And one thing to keep in mind with Sion's E is if you hit them with the minion, it does 30% more damage. I said before, so you don't want to hit them point blank, if possible, with your E. You want to throw a minion at them and hit them with the thrown minion. So, like, walk up to here and throw this minion at Jinx. It'll also hit all these other minions and push the wave. Or you can throw it right here. Like, she thinks she's safe. She's hiding behind these minions. But that's one thing that Sion support can do, is you can throw minions through them. Because it goes through everything. You pause it here, and I'll pull that up real quick. This is a big thing about Sion support, is that hiding behind minions doesn't save people. So, Billows in the target direction, hits the first enemy hit, slowing them, and having their armor reduced by 20%. Okay, so if the target is a minion or non-monster, they're knocked back for 775. So you get up to 775 range. Now, I'm not sure what the range on the Bellow is. I don't think it's a full 775. But they take 30% increased damage to all enemies they pass through. And it still slows them for 2.75 seconds. So they take 30% extra damage. So that's huge. You know, you're level 1 instead of 70, they're going to be doing, you know, like 90 or something close to that. So it's going to be doing a lot more damage, and it'll also wave clear. Now, it does not reduce their armor by 20%. Does that mean, like, the armor, like, shredding that much armor would basically mean that you're going to be doing about 20% more damage to them. But this is that 30% spike damage. So, I don't know. Reducing the armor is good, but I think that you have a ton of opportunities just to throw the minions at them, because they can't hide. Like, it goes straight through everything and hits them. So that's one of the nice things about Sion support, is that they can't hide behind minions, because you just throw the minions and it just goes through all the rest of them and still hits them. So it makes it very hard for people to avoid Sion's E. They have to sidestep it because they can't block it with minions. So I would be doing this a lot more, even though they don't get the 20% armor shred. If you throw the minions at them, they do take 30% increased damage, and it still does apply the slow, and it sets up your Q, and they can't hide. So that's one thing that I haven't really seen you leverage so far, but that's kind of a trademark, I think, of good Sion play would be to use those minions. Like right here, you can throw this minion, and it would hit all of those, do a ton of damage to the wave, and it would hit the Jinx. And maybe the Karma. Like, there you go, there you go. Now, let me see. That did not reduce Karma's armor, I don't think. Let me back that up and see. No. It just reduced the cannon minion. But it did do damage to Karma, so that's key. So yeah, I would be doing that more, and you know, just try to go for the slow off of that. There you go. And then the Q. I would go for Q right there. I would do it while she slowed. You waited until the slow was basically worn off. You gotta exhaust here. You don't have exhaust. Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. Nice. Okay. That's exactly what you want to do. Yep. Hit him with the slow, and then Q him. Alright, looking good. You still have quite a bit of mana left, though. I mean, I know the cooldowns are pretty high for Sion, but I think there were more chances for you to land some slows in there. Like, through the minion wave. So you did that some kind of at the end. As soon as I mentioned it, of course, you start doing it. But I think there were more opportunities earlier on. Okay, so I'll say more E through minions early. Okay, but other than that, very good. Okay, so y'all are getting more aggressive than I thought. This Karma's really just kind of letting you off the hook here. She should be up, like, pressuring you big time, pushing this way, but she's just kind of like AFK behind Jinx most of the time. Occasionally chucking a Q at you. Okay, what'd you buy? Okay, that's pretty good. Now you don't have wards though. You need to be very careful up there because Lee Sin can come right through here and flank. And he's... In theory, he should be approaching level 6. I don't know why he's so low. Excuse me. I'm doing some yard work a little bit ago. Yeah, he hasn't died yet. He's clearing very, very slowly. Maybe he's new to Lee Sin, I don't know. Yeah, he's level 4 though. Okay, yeah, y'all need to back up. Okay, you saw that he's only level 5. I would be thinking that he's probably almost level 6 right now, though, so... You have exhaust? Okay, good. It's usually the jungler, like, a lot of the premier junglers will be level 6 when you're still level 5 in lane, so you gotta be careful with that. Okay, good. Now, when Jinx hits level 6, which is probably going to be pretty soon. Interesting. Okay. It's pretty good. I mean, you knew Lee was back because he just came bottom, so... Typically, if you didn't know that Lee had just backed and he was low, you would not want to do that because he could come flying out of the jungle to kill you. But you knew he was low. Okay, so he's going to creep in. You need to go out and body block him. Get out of tower range, get out of tower range. Okay, good. Good. Body block, body block. No. You gotta body block that Q. Yeah, y'all overstayed a little bit there. Yeah, and that happened because y'all don't have wards. So if you don't have wards in the jungle, like, making the initial dive is okay because you know that Lee just backed. So, you know, you've got a window. It takes people about, depending on their move speed and the champion and things like that, you know, somewhere between 20 to 30 seconds to get back to around the middle of the map, walking from base. So, you know, you can make that dive because you know you have probably a 25-second window there before Lee gets in range to help out. But after that, you've got to leave because you got to just be thinking in your head, okay, he's going to be back, you know, in 20 to 25 seconds. So we have time for like one player. We have time to push one wave, and that's it. So that was a little greedy staying for that. And in the fight itself, you need, like, your main priority, like, you need to be thinking when you see Lee come rolling up like that. Let me back up a little bit here. You need to be thinking, Lee is not going to hit Ezreal with a Q. That's what needs to be going through your mind right here. So as you go through this, you need to be thinking, no Q, no Q, no Q. And he got the Q. So you need to be walking, like, right on top of Ezreal. Back up just a little bit here. Alright, so as soon as you come rolling up, I would hold your stun. Let him commit first. Block. Okay, now just stand. Yeah, that was, like, you need to stand between. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. But yeah, you need to body block that Q. I mean, even if you die there, like, somebody's gonna die, probably. Either you or Ezreal. And if you die, at least we're making sure that Sion's dead and... Or that, Lee Sin's dead.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
Okay, so we'll say, body block projectiles. More. That's something that obviously, you know, when I play Janna or Soraka or something like that, you don't want to do that too much, depending on what's going on. But when you're a tank champion like Sion or Alistar or Blitzcrank or whatever, you need to be doing that more. So obviously, in most cases, you're going to have more health and defensive stats and stuff like that than your AD carry. So it makes sense that you would be the one that wants that, you know, to block the damage. But yeah, that's good for any kind of support play when you're doing all-in fights against anybody. If you're a tank, you want to stand in front of your AD carry to block stuff. That's super annoying against like a Karma or an Ezreal in particular if they can't hit the AD carry with any of their stuff. Wow, I don't know what your team's doing. Okay. This is interesting. Okay, that was a little weird, but I guess it worked out. Graves is just like sitting there right between all of them. It's super dangerous. I like Jinx's death animation there.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Alright, what you got? Sightstone. Yeah, this would be a good place to go Eye of the Equinox next. I mean, the map's opening up, especially first tower's already down, bot lane. So you need those 4 wards. You can help control this area and make sure that you get the next few dragons. They already got an Infernal, which is not great. Okay, you need some wards. That's a little far. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far out by yourself. I'll just ward over right here. You just come over here, ward this. Okay, you see Lee. Typically, if you're sieging, you want to watch for flankers. Get ready to stun this if he goes in on that. Because you know he wants to go in on that and dragon kick Ezreal for the kill. You got to get into the mentality of the enemy sometimes. Okay. Alright, it worked out. Who's dead? Cat, Lee. Okay, yeah, y'all can probably get some damage on this tower then. Now keep in mind you need to be watching the death timers with tab. I can see them, but you can see them too if you just tab. Okay, so they're gonna be back in about 20 seconds. And oh, I thought he was gonna die. Don't chase. Okay, that's it. Let her go. Let her go. Okay, get out. Someone might die here. Okay. Yeah, y'all need to leave. Yep. Really dangerous. It's pretty lucky she didn't kill you too. So you probably should have warded like here for the Fiora flank. I'd forgotten about Fiora. I was watching for the Lee flank. But yeah, Fiora is just murdering this Nasus top, I think. Yeah, she's up like 40 CS, 4 kills. You gotta watch her. So yeah, because you guys overstayed, they got a kill, and now they're gonna get a lot of damage on your tower. So, you know, you should have, after you got the tower, just leave. People stayed around and got an extra wave and tried to mess with Karma. Okay, so I'll say, back up sooner after victories. Take your victories and just don't give them anything back. Okay, now Dragon's coming up, so you do not want to lose this fight, because if you lose the fight, you lose the Dragon too. Okay, good stun. What'd you buy? Jane Vest, okay, so you're going for Knight's Vow. Like I said, and Merc Treads? I would definitely go Tab Eye instead of Merc Treads here. I mean, I understand, like, your thought process is probably that you're going to buy Knight's Vow and that gives you a lot of armor, and you just want some magic resist for Katarina. But she's 0-3 right now, and they don't have crowd control. And you're paying a lot for that tenacity. Oh, Jinx gets Blade of the Ruined King, okay. Very good for you guys. You know, and they have virtually no crowd control at all. Like, it's... I wouldn't get Mercs, I would get Ninja Tabi. Ninja Tabi are just so overpowered right now as boots that unless they have like 3 or 4 people with really hard crowd control, I wouldn't do it. Okay, good. Yeah, just try to peel her. She's probably gonna double or triple kill here. What, I mean, why were y'all chasing this? I'm trying to remember what happened here. Yeah, you don't even have 2 people here, so it's a 3-on-5. Why did that even start? Okay, so 2 people are doing Dragon while 3 people are up here. Yeah, that's already not good. Y'all need to leave. Yeah, he gets caught. Yeah, so y'all all need to be together. Like, Graves is back in the base right now. Nasus is middle. So at best, you're going to have a 3v3 with Fiora and Karma, and you don't want that. Fiora can almost solo 3 people right now. And Karma, if she just puts shields on the Fiora, then it's a big problem. So yeah, you all need to be doing the dragon. Okay, so I'll say don't split. Just don't split ever at all, really, this game. Because Fiora is going to beat any split pusher that you have. And that wasn't even, like, creating map pressure with a split push. That was just people just randomly backing to base and just, like, wandering around. So watch mini. Watch the mini map and just don't fight. You need to be pinging people back if people are trying to do goofy stuff like that. Like start 3v5s middle. Yeah, everyone's just kind of spacing out a little bit here. I would go get Rift Herald right now instead of chase her. Go get Rift. She doesn't matter. It's unlikely you're going to catch her, and even if you do, like, oh my god. Popping summoners. No, 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 no. I mean, I guess you got her, but like, you don't have a wave up here. You guys should have gone to go get Rift Herald. Like, after you kill 2 people, go get Rift Herald. And then Rift Herald is super powerful right now because you already have 2 mid towers down. So, and they don't have very good wave clear. All they have like Katarina's very light wave clear, and Karma's very light wave clear. Okay. But yeah, Rift's going to disappear. But what that means is if you get the Rift Herald and you just walk it up middle,
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
then you could easily get a base tower. And maybe even an inhibitor. Yeah, Rift Herald is overpowered if you use it on a base tower. And you definitely could have there, so... Let's get this tower, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna say, focus objectives after kills. Especially the Rift Herald after that one play. Okay, speed it up a little bit here. Can Nasus beat her? I mean, there might be a point in the game where Nasus could beat Fiora. It's going to be real rough, though. I think split pushing is going to be hard. Unless Fiora just doesn't match Nasus in a lane. Alright, Dragon's the next thing that you want. Stuff in 50 seconds. What is it? Water Dragon. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but... No, 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 no. I mean... Graves is up at the Wolves when you engage that. Nasus is over here. He doesn't have teleport. So, like, at best, that'd be a 3v4, because you see Fiora right there, but everyone else is missing. So that's why they're murdering you, is because it's a 4v3 right now.
Red team's rampage.
I guess your team pulled ahead on that. You guys got really lucky, I think, that they mismanaged that so poorly. Okay, so I'm going to say check mini. Before engage. I mean, y'all are pretty far ahead, but you're not so far ahead that you could win the 3v5s. This Fiora doesn't have teleport either, though, so. Like, if Katarina had a bit more money, and just, like, did her, you know, played a little bit better, it could be a big problem. Okay, yeah, just go get this. Yeah, you basically opted into a 4v3 when you charge down middle lane. Which, like I said, it worked out okay. You guys ended up winning it, but it was pretty sketchy there for a little bit. Graves, don't do it. Wow, this... he's opting into a 2v1 with full darkness. And uses his ult to try to take, golems. Interesting choice. Y'all need to back up. Graves is bottom. They see him. Gnosis is over here getting, like, raptors. This is a 3v5. You guys need to back up, like, right now. Like, this Vel'Koz is pulling off some miracles here. Like, yeah. Graves is back in the base. So it looks like they're just going to Farm Hill here real quick. Alright, what do you got so far? We got Val. It's pretty good. Definitely finish your forward item at this point. Yeah, like they have... I mean, there's virtually no wards. Like, you have some wards around here. Like, that's a good ward, that's a good ward. Those aren't even... Are those yours, though? I don't know which wards are yours. I assume these. So one of those is yours. But yeah, you need a ward here, here, and a pink ward here. You need to try to get control of this Baron area. And somehow convince Graves, remind him that he's the jungler. And he needs to be near Baron at 26 minutes. Like, you can't have your jungler go to the bottom side of the map at 26. Like, if they see him down here, and you need to tell him this, if they see him bottom as Graves, that's basically just like an open invitation for them to rush Baron. Because you would have no smite to steal it if they did it fast enough. And they could do it pretty fast with Fiora, Lee, and Jinx. Y'all need to back up. You have no vision of anything in this jungle. You might see two of them here. I don't think you see... Okay, you saw them. But still, I mean, at best, you would have a 3v2 here. Yeah. And he's dead. He's dead. And if they want to, they could go ahead and take a look at Baron. They see Nasus bottom. Nasus doesn't have teleport. Yep. So yeah, that happened almost exclusively because you and Vel'Koz were down here with no vision anywhere, and they were able to get a flank on you. Like I said, like, you got to think, like, what are we trying to accomplish? Different points in the game. So if you two are here, like, there's no way they're going to let you walk up and get this inhibitor. So you're not getting that. So you're really just sitting here farming with Vel'Koz with your flanks completely exposed. So you need to direct your team to do something productive here. Like, this is always one of those dangerous points in the game when all of the outer towers are down and your team's just kind of wandering around. Like, you need to give them something to do. Say, hey, and you need to ward places. Like, hey, ward this red jungle. Let's let Sion split and catch them when they're splitting. Stop. Okay. Okay. Huh? Okay. Yeah, just go through Baron. Who's okay? You killed 2 of them. Yeah. Get this. Your team needs to group up. Yeah, people taking Dragon. Take, like, if your team would have grouped, you would have had Inhibitor. Yeah, you definitely need to be pinging some of this stuff. Defend that. Yeah, you really need to be warding these flanks more. Lee Sin just loves to flank, and so does Fiora. That's 4v5? Okay, yeah, no, never mind. 4v4. She placed that wrong, which is good. Okay, so we're walking it up here. Y'all should probably, you should leave. Leave. Get out. Okay, I guess you can get one more inhibitor and then get out. I would not stay. You don't have supers. They're all about to spawn. I guess they got 20 seconds on spawn, but you're all so low. I wouldn't do this. Yeah, you're just not going to get it until you get supers. So Jinx is going to get like a free triple kill here. If Karma didn't take that. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get anything without super minions there. It's just not happening. You're not going to get these 2 towers in front of all them like that when you're that low. Your siege is pretty bad with your team. Like, Nasus can do good damage to towers, but he's melee, so he's going to get murdered if he walks up to a tower a lot of times. So yeah, it kind of fits into the, you know, backup. Yeah, back up sooner after victories. I've already written that one down. Alright, I'll speed it up a little bit. They're not going to get anything much in return, fortunately, because they were so pushed into their tower. So yeah, obviously just work your next wave. Actually, I would set up Baron. Baron's up in 50 seconds, so you just want to come up, sweep this area. Ward here, pink ward this. Do the Baron. If someone comes up, just hit them with your Q and just look scary. Freak them out. Body block them here and just let your team get the Baron. I would not... Once again, you're up here with Nasus and Sion. When, like, 2 other people are way over here doing random stuff. Nasus over here doing random stuff. He's dead. Vel'Koz is saving the day here with this massive damage. Ezreal's down here just randomly farming, like... I mean, it's pretty fortunate if y'all win this, but it's pretty lucky, honestly. Because now they're going to get another Baron. Like, you have to get your team... Well, no, they're not, because Fiora just suicided. Because Karma's, like, wandering around randomly. Okay, so they're going to clean this up, probably. Although Ezreal will probably get a kill or two. If Fiora didn't die there, if she just backed instead to kill the Ezreal, and then the other two did Baron, that could have been really bad. Like, Jinx is getting really powerful now. She's had a lot of free kills here. And it's really lucky that she got Blade of the Ruined King instead of Infinity Edge. Like, if she had Infinity Edge, she would melt you guys right now. But she has been brainwashed by the Illuminati. So she got Blade of the Ruined King instead. And now she does so little damage. So yeah, I mean, you guys are giving them a ton of chances though. So once again, that came down to 2 people, you and one other person. Nasus is like over here getting blue or something, and then the 2 of you are just like pushing up middle, and Ezreal's down here and just like randomly pushing a lane that already has supers. Wow. Okay. He used his heal. Get near Vel'Koz. Just Vel'Koz. As I said in the pregame, he's kind of the only thing that matters right now. Just stay near Vel'Koz. And just let him ult. He doesn't even have ult. But he still does a lot of true damage. So yeah, don't worry about Ezreal. He's... I mean, I know he shows up as most damage on the charts, but he's really not doing much. Okay. Yeah, so go bait Baron. They have both inhibitors now. Okay, y'all got that. It's fine. Okay, just go get the inhibitors. People are gonna back. Y'all can probably end this, but you gotta make sure you get that red buff first. I guess they did get Fiora. Okay. Alright, nice work at the end there. Okay. The biggest things that I mentioned, your overall fighting was pretty good. I think maybe staying on the back line a little bit more to peel for some people could have been better than going forward, but overall your micro play was pretty good. It's just like the macro decision making I think that can really help you out here. If you just tighten that up a little bit, I think you definitely win some more games. Okay, so in laning phase, more minions. So you did this some, but definitely try to push your E through the minions to wave clear and to harass the enemies as much as possible. They had a couple of minutes there where you're just kind of wandering around and they were getting some free farm in there, so just try to harass them as much as you can with your E. But overall, it was pretty good laning phase. You definitely secured a couple of kills. Okay, so body block projectiles, mentioned that. Karma Qs, Jinx stuff, Jinx Zap, Jinx Rocket. All these things can be body blocked. So anytime you can, if you're a tank and it makes sense, you're not going to die trying to do it, then try to body block some of those projectiles, especially during all-ins for allies. Back sooner after victories. So there were numerous occasions where your team was already, they had just won something, like you just got a tower, or you were just about to get an inhibitor, or you know, you got a couple of kills or whatever. Just back and, you know, take that victory. Go get a different objective. Go buy something nice. You know, go get some deeper wards. Okay, so this is something I didn't mention during the video, but that I kind of alluded to several times. You should be warding much more, particularly in the mid-game around those spots that I pointed to at Baron, those two hallways that lead up to the Baron. So you should be getting control and choking them out, and that would be a better way to try to close out the game, is to have a pink on Baron, choke off those hallways, and then when they come in, then you engage onto them. Sion can be quite powerful if he gets a full charge stun of people trying to walk into a bush, and you get that, you know, 2-second knock-up. That's a really big deal. So Sion is great if people walk up to him and he's hidden in a bush, and you have your allies there to blow him up. So, like, pull this up. So, like, if you ward here and you ward here, and they just come walking up this hallway, and Vel'Koz is right here, and you knock them all up with a Sion, and, like, Vel'Koz and Graves are here, knock him up with the Sion, Vel'Koz channels his ult, Graves, like, dashes around this corner, and then Q ults them, they're just all dead, and you get a free Baron. So you should have been looking for that a little bit more, just using a lot more wards, and I think getting Eye of Equinox early so you have those 4 wards would help out with that. So yeah, there were so many times where just random people were splitting. Like, you'd have Graves running up a lane, or you'd have Ezreal in a random lane. You need to try to get your team to gather up together. Don't split push against that Fiora. She's too big. So, like, if she actually matched up with the Nasus, or anyone that you had in a side lane, she could kill them all. So I would just try to group up and just bait people into bushes. That's really what your team was good at, is securing vision control, baiting people into bushes, hitting them with your stun, hitting them with the Vel'Koz ultimate. That's what you needed to try to be doing, instead of just kind of running around into random lanes. And that kind of gets into my next point. Watch minimap more. So there were several times where, there was one time where you charged into a fight that was going to be a 3v4 at best. You know, if your allies aren't there and the enemies are out of vision, then just assume the enemies are there and make sure that you're going to be able to have a good, clean fight before you engage. So just be careful, because you got caught out, particularly with Vel'Koz. You maybe were just trying to, like, guard Vel'Koz, or you just weren't thinking. You're kind of zoning out, just kind of, you know, walking through the motions, just getting some CS. You need to make sure that your flanks are secured. This happened several times, at least a couple of times I remember, where you and Vel'Koz are, like, around here. This is complete darkness, this is complete darkness, and you had, like, a random person splitting over here and, like, another person in base. And, like, another, like, I think the time when you got engaged on Vel'Koz in the mid-game, like, Graves was doing Raptors, like, Ezreal was bottom, and, like, Nasus was back, or something like that. So just watch the mini-map and just position accordingly. If they're all doing this random crap, you need to be sitting like right here and trying to get them to group up. And just don't go up here until they're grouped. And before you go up here even, make sure that you get wards, because both Fiora and Lee can flank you. So you need to have a ward at least here or here, and probably like a ward in here before you move up to this point. Okay. What else did I have for you? Okay, so focus objectives after kills. So there were several times where your team was chasing down people for kills. You could have had the Rift Herald, which would have been a base turret really early in the game at like 18 minutes. There were times when dragons were left up. There were times when you could have rotated a Baron after kills. So get objectives instead of chasing people around for more kills as much as possible. And once again, I know this is not all you. Your team's doing all this crazy stuff, but just, you know, tell them, just direct them, ping them, say, hey, let's go do these things. Okay, and I said check the mini-map before he engages. Okay, so that's it. So overall, it looks pretty good. I think, you know, you made some really good plays with Sion. Forced that double kill early. Got a nice dive early. You had some key plays throughout the game. So I think your micro is pretty good. Like I said, there might be some instances where you could peel Vel'Koz a little bit better instead of trying to charge or chase some people some more. But overall, I thought it was pretty strong. Your micro game is really just the macro game, right? So it's... oh, and body blocking would be something you could do better with micro. That's kind of a more advanced tactic that tanks can do that I think would be helpful. But I think the big one is just shot calling and directing your team in the mid game. So backing after victories, warding more, knowing that your team shouldn't be split pushing against the Fiora that's at Fed, shot calling, and just trying to really ward and set up bush ganks a lot more with that particular composition. Okay, and that's going to be it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. And for anyone else that's interested, I do have a coaching playlist linked right here. If you want to check out some more coaching videos, if you would like some coaching, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I am going to be out for a couple of days here, like I said. The birth of my daughter coming up. We're about to head to the hospital right now and get that process started. But just go ahead and send me the email if you'd like, and I can set that up for you, and we'll get that done as soon as I can. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.